Hey everybody, this is Jesse here at Jesse Lee Strength and Fitness. Today I want to take you through my rituals. Basically, I do these rituals a few days a week. I've described them in a previous episode that you guys can check out, but I'm just going to have you sit with me and check this out. I typically will do a few minutes of single leg balancing. I'm going to do some hanging from the bar. I'm going to do some bear crawling, bear planking. I'm going to do a little bit of plyometric health bouncing, and then I'm going to sit with my feet up the wall. And so I'd like for you to join me and walk me through, watch this as I kind of go through. I'll give you some cues along the way, but I would invite you to do this a few days a week for yourself. There's a lot of therapeutic benefits in this. I will add that I typically put in some either therapeutic music, something calming, or some kind of maybe an audiobook, but I would like you to largely be present and be focused on these acts because they are largely a mind-body connection kind of thing, and you will receive some long-term benefits both physically and mentally from this practice. So just bear with me here. We're going to go ahead and get started. I've got an 8-pound weight in my hands. And what I'm going to do with that weight is I'm going to use that for a bit of counterbalance as I step up on my balance pad. Now, I typically would do this for a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and get me a timer started. Started it a few seconds late, but that's okay. And I will do this anywhere from about 2 to 4 minutes. So if you want to go ahead and get started with me, let's just go ahead and do some balance work. I will just take this weight and I'll change it. I'll go overhead. You can do this up to like a 15-pounder. Some days I just like it light, just so I can be a little bit playful and add in some different type of balancing movements. Sometimes I'll go around my leg with it. I'll go overhead with it. I kind of lean laterally with it. You know, maybe do just some little like clean and pressing. Work in some stretching. Heel taps. I'll do this. Sometimes I'll even do a bit of a pistol squat, depending upon how I feel. But I just lifted fairly heavy yesterday, so I'm going to take this pretty easy. Just looking to get a little bit of some blood flow. Now I'm starting to notice the foot is on fire. The back of the knee is on fire. The hip and the glute are starting to really get a pump. I'm about 1.5 minutes into this. Just keep changing positions. Work on your balance. Also work on using your big toe, feeling into your arch. And the mindfulness practice is just go ahead and noticing kind of all these sensations that you're feeling and try not to be too preoccupied with any one of them, but just notice kind of where you're feeling everything. All right, that's 2 minutes on that side. That's okay for today. I shake that out a little bit. Flip my pad over. And then let's go ahead and get started on the right leg. I'm going to go ahead and get my timer back here. All right, my right leg is my problem child. So this side is going to be a little harder for me. My right big toe has been injured. I've broken my right foot. I have a little bit of a bone spur in my right ankle. So this practice is a little bit harder for me over here. So I think I get a lot of good information out of this. So I will just vary these movements. Do some heel taps, maybe a couple of little shrimp squats. Just varying this, being very playful, but also being very mindful of what I'm sensing and what I'm feeling. While I take this 8-pound weight and do all kinds of things, and I'll drop it. I like doing these a little bit around the bend, kind of around the circles kinds of things. I specifically like this hinge, but if you'll notice, I'm much more labored on this side. Feeling it in my lower leg and my calf quite a bit. Now the glutes firing, a little bit of the arch. So typically in isometric work, you get the strong muscles working first, and then as they get tired, start to expose those weaknesses. That's why particularly I like doing this a couple of days a week as a bit of a mindful practice, and also a way to kind of strengthen some of those smaller muscles. Okay, that's it. That was 2 minutes per leg. Like I said, I would typically do anywhere from 2 to 4. So put the balance pad. Now I'm going to go ahead and get started on my hangs. I do dead hangs. I'll get the timer set. Dead hang, I'm going to do the chin hang up first. So I'll go ahead and get started. Just grab the bar, hands over the shoulders, and hang. Trying to be resting and relaxed here. You're going to get a big stretch. Keeping the head and chin kind of back. Let the pelvis just kind of drop out of the lumbar. A lot of good therapeutic feels in the low back. Let that spine kind of get long. If your grip strength is not very strong, you will be tested here. I like to go until I can feel a really nice burn. I typically feel it in my hands, my forearms, maybe my shoulders. That's good enough for today. Got about a minute 05 there. Shake it out. Also, I broke my left wrist, so definitely this is some good wrist training. I definitely feel all of that, but I mean, I've come so far in the rehabilitation of this wrist that these hangs and these things just seem to keep strengthening it. All right, let's go overhand here. Overhand grip. All right, dead hang. This one's harder for me. I won't be able to hang here quite as long. I typically record all these numbers in my training log so I can decide kind of what a good threshold is. I will sometimes try to push it and really go for like a PR some days, but other days I'm just out here doing it. Wow, yeah, I'm cooked on that. That's 30 seconds. That's plenty today. I did weighted chin-ups yesterday, so that obviously is pretty pumped. So on a day like that, after I've got a big lift in, this will just be kind of running through the motions, just trying to get for how I feel. So next is going to be the bear plank. And I typically add a little bit of dynamic crawling in here. So depending on your level of, your strength and your abilities, I'm going to go ahead and set the timer. So what I'll do is go ahead and get into this bear plank position. Hands under my shoulders. And then I just lift my knees about 2 inches and I just kind of hang out here. I might protract and retract through the shoulder blades. Do some wrist rehab, so maybe change the position of my wrist. I might go ahead and do some kind of forward crawling. Change my head position so I can either look up or look down. Maybe do some lateral crawling. Make it a little bit more dynamic and just kind of move around. Do some flow movements. Move in, move under. reverse my crawl, maybe do some kind of like bear plank bird dog, opposing sides. Just kind of play around, or you can just hang out in the isometric. I'm getting some strengthening, and it feels really good. It feels playful, fun, good for my brain. Okay, that's plenty. About a minute 15. It's good. I'll do that up to 2.5 minutes some days, but some days that's just enough to do about a minute or so. Okay, that's the bear plank. Next thing I'm going to do is do some plyometric health bounce. Whew. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set up. Get my stopwatch. So the bounce is just that. We're just going to bounce. Hopefully the microphone doesn't sound terribly. I just go for about 1 or 2 inches off the ground. Let my feet do some work. Pushing through the big toe a little bit. It's good for the lymphatic system. Just kind of helps everything move around in the body. We want some flow. I might move left, move right. Might shift my feet a little bit. I like doing this for a couple of minutes. Up and down. Maybe vary my heights a little bit, get a little bout. I feel like this strengthens my ankles and my feet. It's kind of like doing some jumping jacks, so imagine I'm just jumping jacking. But this doesn't take any skill. Whereas jumping jack, I feel like I just spend so much time trying to start and stop until I get good at it. Just jump in place, it's pretty good. Yeah, I just kind of play around. Feels good. Just moving your body. All right, that's a minute 45. That works. No biggie. Okay, and the last thing is going to be feet up the wall. So this is my favorite part. Doesn't require any energy. Drains all the fluids out of the feet. Resets my hips and my back. Feels really good, so I'll walk over here. I'm going to get on my back. I'm going to put my butt against the wall. Put my feet up the wall. I'm going to rest. Everything just pops and cracks. I like getting my butt right up against the wall. My back is nice and flat. I'm going to just like curl my feet. I like reaching overhead and practicing my overhead movements. Maybe some T's and some Y's. Just pushing on my femurs a little bit helps my low back to kind of release. Then eventually you just want to get quiet. Tune into the noises around you and just rest. And I'll do this one for, anywhere from 5 to 15 to 20 minutes sometimes. I find the sweet spot is about 8 to 10 minutes. I think you really start to get a good positive effect after about 5. I won't lay here very long just to kind of demonstrate, but this would be the idea. Just to kind of lay here and get everything kind of all in alignment. And just do a little body check, check in with the feet, the toes, the ankles, the knees, the hips, the low back, the mid back, the shoulders, the head, the neck. Just do a spot check. If you've got some issues, just kind of breathe into that area and kind of spend some time on it. But eventually, you just kind of let it go and see if it passes. And then I would roll over. And rather than just hopping right up, I would typically just hang out into a Sphinx position here. Push up into a Cobra. Come out of it. And boom. That's it. So that's a really beautiful way to spend, I don't know, however long that was, 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. My body feels great. I'm reset. You know, those are the rituals that kind of keep me rolling. I'll do those 2 to 3 days a week. Hopefully you can incorporate those into your life. Let me know if you like that. Please like, subscribe, and share. Have a great day.